Hello fellow Helldivers, Thornton here, and that is correct. We are back in the gloom, stopping the Meridian Singularity, but more about that as well. There does seem to be some Super Earth train objectives, and the Illuminate are going to be making a final stand there, and we're going to go over all that information today, but without further ado, let's jump into today's topic. So fellow Helldivers, we are back at it again, going into the gloom, and we have a pretty fun mission. We get to fight the new bugs again, and of course, the goal here is to stop the Illuminate from moving the Meridian Singularity, and with it, well, they did specifically mention we got to gather E710 and collect Illuminate samples to support construction and operation of the reverse gravity field generator. And this is all pretty interesting because just the other day, Iron Sights did confirm in a leak, so do take that with a bit of grain of salt, the Illuminate evasions of Super Earth are currently being tested in the game, so this is something that they are planning to do. And actually, when they come to Super Earth, there's going to be some pretty interesting stuff happening with that. There was a post the other day on Low Sodium Helldivers by John Helldiver 117, and he actually brought up the discussion of trains coming into Helldivers. And well, it's worked in Apex Legends, Fortnite, and other games, and well, it actually does seem like a train is coming, and there's some leaks about it, so we're gonna cover that. It was posted on one of the Helldivers League's Discord that there is an objective related to most likely a Super Earth train that no one actually right now really seems to know about, and it was speculated that it might be in the same area as the President's Mansion objectives. There was more info then given about it, saying there are file strings that also mention a Liberation Armada fleet of some sort that's been there for some while, which one, I am totally down for. A Liberation Armada sounds really, really cool. Maybe we have that when we go to Super Earth and it's there to, like, you know, clear it out when we get invaded. Along with that, going back to the Super Train, the original poster said, in regards to the President's Mansion objective, said, could be, but I remember when Iron Sights was talking to me about those some time ago, they seem unfinished because instead of a time limit protecting the President's Mansion had infinite time and the attacks apparently wouldn't stop. In case you guys are a little confused on the President's Mansion, we have covered it a ton on this channel. On Super Earth, there is going to be a President's Mansion that we have to defend against an enemy onslaught, and well, we don't know much more than that, but it is going to be something when that, you know, saga unfolds. Now, the second thing I really wanted to talk today was a post made on the Helldivers League subreddit, and all credit goes to the poster, but they gave us a bunch of inside information on new Liberator assault rifles and the modification system coming to them, and they showed us a ton. The first thing is there are going to be different magazines that you can see here. There's the basic one, a little bit larger of one, and then a drum mag at the very end of that. That is great. I love the idea of being able to carry more ammunition around. Then you need less supply packs. Could be very interesting. Along with that, there are new muzzles that you can see a bunch here. Interestingly enough, there is a suppressor one. I've been really excited about a stealth styled warbond, which may or may not come, but you know, having stealth styled weapons that we could go ahead and use and not alert every single enemy in the area would be a very interesting tactical ability. Along with that, there are sights, and you have your typical iron sights here, and then what looks to be 4 to 8 and maybe even 8 to 10. Again, I don't know how valuable the long scope ones would be on, say, the assault rifle. Maybe it could work. Maybe you could turn it with the single fire and make it somewhat viable, but just having the different customization for sights to go ahead and play in the game would open up our arsenal a lot more. And of course, with all that being said, there are camos for these as well. There's 3 shown right here, one with your typical camo, then a desert camo, and then a white camo. I am really hoping we continue to see weapon skins come into the near future of the game. I think that is something that in terms of progression would be great. Maybe we could finally use requisition slips on this because man, I'm tired of being at 50,000 and having nothing to spend it on. Now, the poster did give us some information. He said each attachment affects the way the weapon handling feels. They are all being reworked from what I've gathered. However, keep in mind that these could also simply be weapon parts designed for other planned weapons, since a lot of weapons in your arsenal do in fact originate from the base Liberator. Though I do also find it a coincidence that they all seem to perfectly fit the base Liberator. Most of the other weapons in your arsenal too host a couple attachments, but mostly the same sights and munition types, meaning the Liberator might be a test in the first one we see in the game, and maybe we see some other ones later on down the line. He went on to go ahead and talk about munition types. He's already covered most of the features in an older post, but it got DMCA'd, meaning this seems to be something that's actually going on, otherwise Sony wouldn't take it down. However, nothing has changed regarding their stats effects for the time being. I'll leave those alone and possibly feature them in another post around the trigger systems, which are also part of the Weapon Workshop workbench. Unfortunately, I cannot do a showcase of those right now. He's on a business trip, so on and so forth. And as always, and this is very important, remember, this is a leak. It does not show in any way or form the final product of what Arrowhead has planned for the weapons customization feature, which they have initially abandoned, however, have regained interest in as of the Escalation of Freedom update. So that's a lot of cool stuff going on in the world of Helldivers right now. We're going to go ahead and jump into community clips now. Don't forget to submit your own to me at Thornton Smash on Twitter, but without further ado, let's roll it.
Sending in an eagle! coordinates. Pelican 1 landing sequence initiated. Watch where you're standing.
Rock tunnel breach! Calling down a sentry! Calling in orbital strike!
Pelican 1, prepare extraction complete. Pelican 1 beginning ascent.
Today you've carved another foot in the long climb to liberty.
Helldivers never die! Reinforcing!
For democracy!
Ending it!
Let me know down below, what are your guys' thoughts on the Super Train Earth objective? Do you think it'll be a good thing, or do you think, whatever, Illuminate don't really matter? Also, don't forget to check out this video right here where I cover more Helldivers 2 news on the daily. And until next time, everyone, thanks for stopping by. Keep spreading managed democracy.